Okay.
I eat my animals.
There you go. Oh.
That was
Really?
that was.
Okay, Leonard, this is just a little weird.
Yeah,
Why
I
does
know,
your character
I know.
hate?
Yeah.
Your character is I see his reaction as
Yeah, I know,
comedy,
I
right?
know.
That's not.
I
You might want to reconsider this. It's not fitting.
I would never ever hurt an animal. That's not in me.
Okay.
But my character is an asshole in that way.
Okay. All right.
It kind of felt right because my
If you
path
say
is
so.
bonding with animals, and the other one is losing my content. It feels kind of not. I'm a bad job.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're like the kind of person
I
that
don't know,
would
it's-
just
I
ride a
actually
horse.
think it's the other way. It doesn't feel like it fits at all.
Like
Okay.
you're the kind of person that would just ride a horse really hard until it dies because we're getting there today. Like,
Yes.
ride on, Polly.
Right.
Like I don't care that you're like
When
ride
you-
on.
When you choose
Yeah,
a
maybe.
path, when you choose a path or a concession
Yeah.
out of the choices that you get from me, and if you choose one that has a vice attached,
Yeah.
then you will get an important resource which is called resolve. But you will take what is called essence damage. You will take damage to your essence. So that's what happens when you choose the path with a vice. Resolve is an important resource. That is a power up that I was talking about. But on the other hand, if you choose, if you choose a path, you get something called saga. If you choose a concession, you get resolve. If you choose something with a vice, you will get even more resolve, but you will also take this damage. So there's a mechanic for what you get from these different paths you take. And each one is highly situational. There are times when you say, well, that's really bad for my character, but it is what they do, so I'm taking that one.
Could a vice be that I'm not forgiving?
Yeah, unforgiving,
That I could
excellent.
Be, that
Yeah,
I can connect it with the first path that I keep civilization up my home.
that's
like,
right.
If someone brings civilization to me, I will not forgive them for it.
And not only that, but you may make bad choices because of
Yes,
Yeah,
I might kill them because I can't forgive them
Right,
for doing
exactly.
this.
Right.
Or I will
Right.
destroy things that they want because
Exactly.
I do not want them.
Exactly. Yeah, that works very well.
Yeah, I'm kind of changing my person. It wasn't too hard of a laugh.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's too ridiculous
Yeah.
in some ways. Except in the Destiny grants character.
You
Okay.
could have the opposite if you love your animals too much.
I would do anything for them. Is that a path or a
that's-
concession?
That depends on what you think.
I think that's a concession.
Okay. Yeah.
Because that
Yeah.
would make me do stuff.
Especially the do anything phrasing. Yeah.
Especially after having with
Right.
the loss
You're
of the one.
overcompensating.
Yeah,
That makes a
yeah.
lot more sense.
And then two vices.
It may help to be as basic as possible
Yeah.
with these,
And
rather than
and I think my background is giving me
Mhm.
one of the vices.
Which is-
Anger
yeah. There you go.
against animal abuse instead.
Right. Over. Right.
Yeah,
You're-
overreacting
Right, yeah.
at it. Yeah.
Exactly. Right. So. Yeah. And therefore, if you wanted, it depends. Sometimes you can, if it seems obvious, let's say you gain a blight,
Yeah.
you could take unhinged.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you don't have to go down the line so coherently, but
No.
if it's so obvious, if it's obvious,
Yeah,
you can.
to this character it is very obvious.
So you can kind of see where it might
Yeah.
go. Right.
And then
Okay.
second vice.
A question: could I have the first path that is keeping civilization out of my home? Can the second one be destroying civilization? Because I want our way to live to take over the other.
I suppose so, but I think you should be a little less vague about civilization. I think, for example,
like cities and
right. Well, for
staying
example,
at one place.
Stormmount, that city where
Yes.
actually members of your tribe do settle and live,
yes,
right? Maybe it is expanding. You're not going to let Stormmount into your tribal home.
I think
If your
she's
area,
more okay with that, but more really the other ones.
right?
They have a city
Like
that more you visit and leave.
hmm
Is how I think of it,
Mhm.
rather than a lot of people living there constantly. But if you look at other lands, they are literally
I'm
You
afraid
live
that
your
I'm afraid
entire life.
Stormmount is going the wrong way as far as your character
Okay.
is concerned. And also, since there aren't other cities too close to our area here,
Yeah.
I'm thinking that maybe they are getting a little too organized at Stormount, and now they are setting up permanent settlements in your tribal lands.
Yes.
So it wouldn't
But
be like
that's the first path.
Yeah.
So that will not give me a second one.
that would stop them. But you could say that maybe another path is to, well, I don't want to make too many suggestions. I think it might be good to not connect your paths.
Yes.
So they are very different, because that means if they are just like steps of the same thing, then they're not really a choice during play.
No.
And I do have to connect the vice to either my path or my concessions.
Correct.
Can he put both his vice on the same path? No. Okay.
The point is that the more vices that you have, the more they are spread across your choices.
Okay.
If I have 5 vices, what happens then?
I don't know. Because I have to, if you ask me edge cases at this stage of development, of us playing the game, the answer is no. We are learning.
Yeah.
And right now I know enough to get these characters made and to show you the basics of the dice. We will continue to sofisticate as we go.
Yeah. So that could be something we can help develop.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it's in the rules somewhere.
Yeah.
We will find it. If it is not, then we will ask.
Yeah. Yes. I will try to keep my questions.
We'll stay on track with the situation.
And if I have read the things, I will ask correctly from there. Okay. Yeah.
So tonight I will send him an email asking him if it's okay to share the PDF, and then he will probably say yes, and then we will go from there. With a document this size, one pair of eyes is not enough.
Can I have a path that get more will strong? Or will that get into other things?
No, that's okay. A path to strengthen my will. Yes. You know, that means your character kind of knows that they need to be more and more and more powerful in their will, and so that makes sense.
Yes. Really
Develop.
She can use the horse to get stronger in her body and use that, but the horse will not help her keep the mind. Yeah.
So that means, for example, I could give you the opportunity to meet somebody who promises to. You would say, I would say, guess what? You have a choice. This path, and then maybe I would pick one of the concessions. I would say, right now, what's going to happen? This or that. And then you say, strengthen my will. You choose the path. Then I say, okay, this little old man that we were just talking to, you see him doing these exercises, mental exercises, and it looks like something you might learn how to do.
Yes.
Then,
why would you ever want to choose the concession?
Well, because situations are sometimes quite tempting. And then because you are thinking about your character, but more importantly, remember mechanically, if you choose a path, you get this kind of resource or recovery. But if you choose a concession, then you get this other kind of thing. You get more resolve. And maybe you're in a situation right now where you really think you could use a lot of resolve in the next few minutes. You could, the thing you are trying to do, the whole situation there, and you're like, I really need resolve.
Is it a good vice if I am unhealthily passionate by dark arts?
Yes, absolutely.
That's why I want to get. That's the concession with the impalement of.
Sure. Yeah. The dark arts fascinating.
Yeah.
The dark arts are fascinating.
Yep.
Yes. That's actually a very classic concession now that I think about it. Yeah.
That's fair.
Abilities and categories, are they the mounted combat style and my instincts and acrobatics, or is it something else?
Those are abilities.
Yes.
And then the categories are blood and blade and rogue and wood.
Okay.
Those are whole sets of abilities. So, for example, when you decide that you want a new ability and you're going to spend experience points or bury a point of RK to get it, then you are allowed to go to the general abilities, and you are allowed to go to rogue and wood, and you are allowed to go to blood and blade. So
it kind of feels like they should be
separate. I completely agree. And the categories and abilities terminology was, I had to email him a few times in order to understand what to do. So,
Because it feels like when you're choosing the upbringings, they will give you some abilities
yes,
from the start, and then they give you your
categories.
skills,
Yes,
and then you give you, and not all of them gave me categories.
correct. There's a couple of things. When you get a blank in your abilities for that upbringing, then you are allowed to choose an ability, and you can choose from general or for any category that you have. If you have, otherwise, if it just gives you a category, then you don't get any abilities, you just have the category open. So, for example, if you had a blank and then the category, that means you choose from that category.
Then I ask, because I'm an archer, wouldn't that be blood and blade?
Let's find where it is. Let's just see what...
Because I have rogue and wood and trade and sage, but I don't have a third, and I think, or is it not?
I think maybe two of them.
Yeah,
are the
that's
same,
what I'm
because I
thinking
think
about.
that's-
Well, yes, because when you have two, that when you get another one, you get experience points.
Okay,
right?
That's why.
So if you get a new category, or if there's no category listed, you get 2 experience points.
Okay.
That's, did you hear me say that a few times? That was why. So
but
wait,
I
let me
don't have
check.
any experience points, and I only have 2 categories.
Hold on, let's check. Awareness and prowess for archer.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
And human.
And then you get no category.
No category.
Right.
Okay. Then I got
Right.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
And she had.
So then you got 2 experience points. For
Yeah.
that. And then for ranger.
Yes.
Or for
No, I had mounted. It was
horseman.
yes.
Yes.
I was a nomad culture.
Oh right. So we go back to here for that.
And that's where I got the mounted combat style.
Let's check.
But I don't know what I got.
I'm sorry, it's taking me a couple of minutes. Nomad culture. No. Nomad culture gave you a blank for abilities and rogue and wood.
Yes.
What that means is from here, you do get an ability, but you choose it from rogue and wood.
Yes.
Okay. Or from the general.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then you keep going.
Yep.
And so then we go to horseman. And with horseman, you got mounted combat style as an ability.
Yes.
You also got blood and blade as a category.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I
far,
got the rogue and the wood in the first, and the blood and the blade in the second.
And then finally we go to ranger, and we discover that you get a blank,
Yes.
which means you get to choose an ability from anything, right? Blood and blade, rogue and wood, general.
Yes.
And then you also, it says blood and blade or rogue and wood.
Yes.
And you already have those.
Yes.
So what we do,
So I should get XP.
you should, let me check, because at that point, I think it's a little different. You get XP for this column, but let's check. I want to see this. Category. Right. If you gain a category as one, then you would have 2 EP from that. You would have 2 experience points from that. Yeah. So either way, if you have a blank for a category, then you get 2 experience points. Or if you have a repetition for a category, you get 2 experience points.
Because it counts as a blank.
As a blank, yes,
yeah,
it does.
Okay.
Right. So a blank for an ability and a blank for a category are 2 very different things. So that's why the ability category process is the trickiest part. And managing the 3 of you simultaneously for that was a little bit of I'm very pleased we did it correctly, but I definitely had to keep flipping pages and telling you to wait and things like that so we could get it right. Wow, somebody actually went with the burned man. I can't believe it. That's one of the most extreme choices in the game.
Yeah. Well, it sounded interesting since I had no idea what it was.
Right. So did you write down what you wanted?
All these abilities?
For the burned man. Did you pick?
You mean one of these?
Yeah.
No, I have not picked one of them.
Okay.
I would like the books.
Okay. I would like you to pick for that right now.
All right.
Just so that way I can get my sheets back and not lose them.
Yeah. And I guess we keep those because they are scribbles. It's good for keeping the books.
Right. Well, at the moment, I need then to write down all of the abilities because I'm going to make a little pack for you
Alright.
to hand out to you so you know exactly what your abilities do. And that way I don't have to look up anything in play. You can imagine that's a high priority.
Let's see. I need sacrificial unification.
Ooh,
Scarification.
No, scarification unification.
Uh-huh.
Still not too,
Right.
that sounds like fun.